10-year hiatus. I took some time to fall in line with the greatest.
All right, yes, we are here. Stop it, y'all. Stop the text message and the emails. Yes, we're here live on InTouch News Radio, Reality Radio. Radical be a star. I want to welcome you back to this week's program, and what a wonderful and exciting time to be here. And I appreciate everyone who comes on this show and participates in my weekly therapy. You know, mental health is a huge issue right now, as with all health in the Black community. We have oftentimes not paid attention to what we needed, and we just put that crazy uncle in the corner and just said, "I'll tell the little girls, y'all stay away from him." And but we need to be more attentive to our mental states, how we feel, and things of that nature. So I appreciate everybody who comes on to my weekly therapy session as I unload on you all the thoughts and things swirling in my head. So that we can get into another week and reload. So welcome this morning. It's a beautiful Saturday where I'm located. It's still kind of hot, y'all. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on too. I think related to the heat. I was watching where we have the first ever hurricane warning in California. They're getting ready for potential hurricane coming ashore. Which is very unusual because of the cold water in the Pacific rarely allows a storm to move from west to east ashore there because the storms really feed off the warm water. But that water in California is coming down from the northern Pacific, coming down off the glaciers up off Alaska and doesn't support a depression holding itself together until it gets ashore. So that's very unusual. Also, that's just behind the fires in Maui. And they were saying, well, why didn't the alarms go off in Maui? They said, well, we got them for tsunamis and hurricanes. We got a lot of alarms. We just never thought we need to send off alarms for fire. And the fire was moving a mile a minute, which means I think that about 60 miles an hour. So very, very fast moving storms. And so there's a lot happening with our climate. And I know we have an ongoing discussion about whether or not that's connected to what we humans are doing here on Earth. I would suggest that you want to know what's happening with the weather, you might want to get your butt in church, because that's one of the first lessons you learn in church is, God controls the weather. You don't believe me? Check out Noah. First, right there in front of you. So you might want to get in church if you're still wondering about what's happening with the weather. I highly recommend any church near you, any church near you, that you get in there. But a lot of things are happening that we need to attend to. Some personally, some have a much more broader aspect, And so today on this show, look, we're gonna just kind of take it easy. I want to make sure you all know your thoughts and comments are very welcome here. Contrary to what some of the comments I get are, I do like to hear from callers. I love what you all think. I love what you say. No, I am not all knowing. Forget what my wife says. I think I know it all. Honestly, I don't know it all. I know a lot, compared to, but anyway. So here's a call-in number, 813-444-9580. You got no P. We got no professor. It's just me and you for a little bit, and then I got a few people that may pop in down the road. But this is your chance to, if you want to share some thoughts or comments, a great day to get on here with me and just share what you're thinking about. Because I know, let me say, there's some things you should be thinking about, right? Like one of the things on my mind right now is, back to school. Still in America. I don't care what anybody tells you. The main route to the American prosperity and benefits in this country and the ability to function is an education. Is an education. It is. I'm telling you that. Listen, I'm going to tell you how. This is how it goes down. So yesterday, I took my daughter back to Tallahassee. She's a third-year pharmacy student at FAMU. Just excelling, doing a wonderful job. I'm just amazed at what she's able to do. And listen, as a dad, DJ CEO, I'm leaning in heavy, y'all. my shoulders all the way forward, and my wallet is fully extended out in front of me. It's fully extended. I'm not one of these guys that carry my wallet in the back, my back pocket when it comes to education of my kid. My wallet is fully extended, meaning whatever she needs and about wants, we're gonna get it for her. You know why? Because she's doing her part, right? And the reason we work hard and do what we do is so that we can do the things that are important. And her education to me, the idea that my family has a chance to have a doctor in it, it won't fail because I was holding on to a couple 20s. That won't be the reason. That won't be the reason. It may be some other reasons, but it won't be. So I'm saying I'm leaning in, wallet fully extended. So we get to the nice little new apartment complex yesterday, and it's, nice little resort type with the lagoon pool and, nice accommodation, gated, 'cause they girls. I can't have a place some knuckleheads walking around. We get gated community, all that kind of stuff. And we get to the actual apartment that she rented.
Now, is she off campus?
She's on campus. She's done with campus. She did 2 years.
Right.
Like it was nothing. At 5, she did the dorm. So she's off campus now, and the apartment's not ready. It's not ready. Education, y'all. Let me see how it works. We go back over to the place. Young man sit behind the counter. And I start with this. Young man, I'd like to talk with you about your breach of our lease. That was my opening line. I didn't say nothing about cleaning. He said, what? I said, well, we have a contract that says we have a unit that will be available. That unit's not available. I'm declaring you all in breach of my lease. So you all have 2 options. You can give me a full refund and we walk out the door, or we can find some other comment. And the young man just sitting there like, dude, I just started working here 2 months ago. I don't even know what the heck you talking about. And I know about a breach of a lease. Anyway, long story short, immediately they've got carpet cleaners over there. They got a house cleaning service. So they got the handyman man over there. And the guy said, look, can we throw in like a bait to half a month of rent? He was just rolling over. But the reason I could do that is I have some education.
Oh, yeah.
I have some, and that's applying it to the life that we're living.
Right.
And we see that repeatedly in situations. DJ CEO, I was telling you, we had the conclave here. We had our wrap-up celebration for the brothers to pat ourselves on the back just one more time. And I was thinking to myself as I looked around the room at the decades of high-level corporate, executive, administrative experience in the room. I'm talking people that are responsible for $100 million budgets every month. People who are responsible for major corporations around the world. People responsible for government installations, operating and meeting our obligations. And we got to put all that together on some little bit of events that we did here for Tampa. We got all that rented an event at a park, tickets for a banquet. So I was thinking of the level of talent that comes with this idea of what we have, the ability to get these education, DJ CEO. And so I'm a big proponent still of leaning into these educations. I have too many people saying, well, I worked my way through school, and so I'm letting my kids work their way through school. You idiot. That's an idiot, because you can't take the money with you.
Stupid.
Just crazy. You got the kid driving around some jalopy car that's barely operational that won't give him here to there, because, they got to do it the way that I did it. Well, you did it that way because you had to. And if you think about it, you didn't do it the way that your parents did it. Your parents gave you what they could to move you along. And as you know better, I think it should do better. So I like to tell people, DJ, I'm leaning in with my daughter, and my wallet is fully extended.
That's good.
It's full. It's not in my back pocket, and I'm not counting. I'm asking, what do you want? Then I'm figuring out how I can get it. Now, I will say this. She is reciprocating my effort with her effort.
So the question is, how are her grades?
Outstanding. Just listen, I would be embarrassed if I ever look at my grades to compare to her grades. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. But she's excelling in every step of the way. So I would just say to anyone out there, as we go back to school right now, whatever level you are, and I talked about this last week about our teachers and education, we have got to re-embrace the importance of a good quality education, and do all that we can at every level. I'm just thrilled at the resurgence in the HBCU attendance, and I was watching online a lot of celebrations at some of the schools as they start their programs, and they're posting these videos of the students walking in to, I guess, convocation and some other things that these schools do. And man, my heart is just full. So I just want to say that that's one thing that's really powerful and driving us right now, and it spills back over into now how we function in our society, because some of the things that we are under, and I'm going to cover this topic today, is I think African American progress in America is under attack. It is under attack. It is under attack. There's no other word to use for it. It is under attack, and if there is not an organized strategic response to that attack will continue. Let's expand on that when we come back. And I want you all to think about calling in 813-444-9588. 813-444-9588. This is Intex News Radio, Reality Radio. Everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Hi, it's Angela Birdsong, and I want to recommend highly that if you're an attorney, that you get a quote for errors and omissions insurance from Sam Cohen at Attorneys First. He's had over 20 years of experience, and he knows how to work with attorneys. Call him at 727-799-4321. Hi, I'm Angela Birdsong, and during the week, they call me the Medicare lady. I help people successfully transition onto Medicare, sometimes Medicaid. I also help people with life insurance, long-term care insurance, and annuities. Please do not try to navigate Medicare without me. It's complicated. 813-476-4837.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Back on Intex News Radio, Rally Radio. Everybody could be a star. So I ended the last session by saying that African American progress, let me say it that way, not the people, but the progress is under attack. We've seen this before. We saw it after Reconstruction. And for those of you who are not educated, you need to go back and look at that period from about 1865 till about 1868. 65 to 68, and I may be missing a year or two. But the amount of African-American home ownership, land ownership, starting of businesses, development of towns, all that stuff you hear about being destroyed in the 19-teens and 20s during Jim Crow happened in the late 1880s.
So in 1865, wasn't that Emancipation Proclamation?
Proclamation 63.
63.
That's Proclamation 63. 65, it ends, we get the 4 constitutional amendments, and you get Reconstruction, where the government takes an active effort to improve the conditions of African Americans, and the progress takes off from there. And we had very little education at that time, very little.
Okay.
So interesting, though. We got a call on the phone. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning. This car, the trucker calling in. I chime in on it. You really had a great opening there, and that's
Thank you.
very true. Education is a new currency. Your education do put you farther down in life. Put you in a good spot or whatever. Not just in your colleges, even your journey in life or whatever. Your
Right.
knowledge that you retain.
Yes.
As you go about your daily chores or stuff or whatever, and
Right.
you learn as that, and you hold on to that knowledge and apply it as you as you grow.
Right. You're very right about that, Carl. And see, and I don't want to imply something. I don't want to say this, that only the smart people who have the ability go to college. Absolutely not. That is absolutely not the case. What I'm saying is the way that American society is set up, you have a better chance with that. Not to say that you can't do whatever it is you want to do otherwise. I don't want to say that. In fact, some of the smartest people I know, or most successful people, they didn't learn that they didn't get that in college. College is a great place to develop and grow. So I don't want to imply that, but glad you're up this morning and can join us. Listen, now let me make sure I'm clear. You're out of the Atlanta area, and I know you keep your nose on the politics, and I know you really watch Joe Biden. But I want to ask you a couple things about something. So we have coming up, we have these new indictments that came out of Atlanta. Kind of give me a feel of how Atlanta's responding to that. How is that impacting Atlanta? How do people up there responding, or you as an Atlantan? How do you feel about that? That Atlanta's leading the way with these indictments of Donald Trump.
Well, like where you do have a lot of the MAGA base right there in Atlanta, down up in the Roswell area, Alpharetta, and so some of them do have a little grime, a little griminess about them, that's and nowadays you can't really engage into politics even about Donald Trump because those people they're gonna get very defensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me ask you.
So you have to watch how you engage with that.
Let me ask you though. Are you happy? Are you proud that Atlanta, the prosecutor for Fulton County, is leading on these indictments? That it came out of your area. Are you proud of that, or does it make you feel good about your area?
Well, she had to do something because this really shows that our justice system works for the for the ones that have money and the ones that don't. So it gives people a little bit more faith in the justice system. So they had to do something because Donald Trump just really ignored the fact that he violated some of the rules and some of the laws. So I think it's more so accountability.
Okay, so one of the issues is Donald Trump is that Donald Trump called about the election, but didn't Lindsey Graham also call and try to get some questions asked or put some pressure on the state of the Secretary of State? Didn't he call? And if so, what do you think about him being charged as well?
Okay, right. So the DA, so she did initiate the RICO Act, and so which is like you said, it's a good tool because it was a conspiracy. So she wanted to get all the members charge all of them equally for what they did in the insurrection in the not in insurrection, but in the
trying to overturn the election, so to speak.
Right,
because that's really what they were trying to. They were trying to get the Georgia officials to do something funky with the election to change it or to put it into question. And that's a conspiracy.
It wasn't just Donald Trump. There was more because it was conspiracy. So they initiated the RICO Act.
Yeah, but what do you say? What do you say to people who say, "Well, this feels so political"? It just feels like a bunch of political minded Democrats are attacking Donald Trump because he's the front runner. How do you refute that this is not overly a political action by a bunch of Democrats exercising excessive power because they can?
It is political, but like a sheriff told me once before. He said, "Well, look," and like I told him, "Look, you're profiling people in the black community." He said, "Well, if you don't commit a crime, we can't get you."
No. Clearly,
if you don't commit a crime,
no. Yeah, but
you don't do anything, we can't get you.
Unless you decide to make up a crime or create a crime, because a big crime that they often hit black folks with is resisting a police officer. When there's no real crime before that, the only crime you have now is I didn't let this officer flip me over upside down and put his finger up my butt. I resisted. And so now that becomes the crime where you stop me for nothing. I won't get out the car quick enough. It becomes resisting. So I can understand it. But my thoughts are Republicans are saying this is a political witch hunt. It has no legitimacy. And all these Democrats in Fulton County are just piling on the president. That's why they are doing this. What do you say to those folks?
Well, it's a legitimate charge, and it's not a witch hunt because he did commit a crime.
Now, what when you say
it's legitimate?
All right, so because he committed a crime, you're like he should be like everybody else. He should be prosecuted, and he go through the same process everybody else goes through.
Yes, he should be held accountable for his actions.
Now, let me ask you this: what do you think about the number of people involved? I want to say it's like 19 people, total of 19 people. You think that's too? Is that too?
And, right.
Is that too many people? You think it makes it messy? It spread everything out so wide. You don't think it gets messy now?
No, because you want to charge as many people as you can, because now when you charge them, you can also gather evidence from those people that you charge, so you can use those people against each other.
Right. I think one of the plans, I know when they use RICO, oftentimes when they charge a criminal organization like this, they charge a bunch of people, and they go to they start with some of the low-line people and say, look, you want to flip out, we can cut you a deal, you give us information on the other folks. But I just feel like we have so much information currently about what happened with Donald Trump that I don't know if there's more to be gathered. You know, what more information? Like he said last week, he was going to have this press conference. I think it was on Monday or something, and he was going to reveal this evidence. And somebody said, well, why would you be holding evidence for 3 years? If you had information to prove the election was stolen in Georgia, why would you not have disclosed that information soon? It just makes his whole argument look like it lacks foundation. That's the best word I can. That it doesn't, And thankfully, I think he canceled this press conference, which somebody said. I think Chris Christie said it sounds like he's finally listening to his lawyers who probably told him, look, it's not a good idea probably you get up here and start talking about what you're going to do. So, but listen, Carl, I appreciate you talking and entertaining me about Donald Trump, but I know you really want to talk about your boy Joe Biden, because I know that we have not forgotten on this show that it was you, Carl, when Biden didn't win in Iowa, you said wait. When Biden didn't win in New Hampshire, you said he's coming. And he came through in Carolina. So I want to give you a chance to talk about your boy Joe Biden a little bit on the other side. You can hang on for the other side for me, Carl, if you will. We're going to take this quick break. In-Text News Radio, reality radio. Everybody can be a star. We'll be right back after this quick message.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/here-for-you.
Hey, this is Tampa Bay Tammy. Don't forget to pick up your copy of In Touch News.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. listening to In Touch Radio.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, reality radio. If I could be a star, I got called on the phone, and he was really patient enough to let me talk about Donald Trump a little bit. Carl, your boy Joe Biden, he seems to be like, the polls just kind of seems to be flat. First of all, how do you think he's handling his response to these indictments? Are you pleased with how he's handling that?
Yes, definitely, yes, because he don't want to have anything to do with this indictment because, you don't want the Trump supporters to say yes, or you don't want them to really believe the rhetoric that Trump is putting that, Joe Biden has anything to do with this or whatever, or this is really his idea. So he's staying away from it. He has no comments about it. He, so he's distancing himself. So, and he's staying focused on the economy and what's going on with over in Hawaii. And yeah, he's really doing a really good job being a president. And he's taking the time. Have some little mishap here and there, but he's I think he's really focused on what a president needs to be doing.
Yeah, right. So first of all, you answered already. My second question was going to be whether or not you're happy with the job that he's doing. I think he's being a good caretaker of the country right now. And it's interesting. Every phase of America's history has a uniqueness to it. We're post-COVID phase right now. We've never been there before. So it's very different phase. You kind of got to make some adjustments to accommodate that and the economy that comes with the fallout of COVID and what needs to be done, which we see happening, though. But let me say, give me something, though. I know he's not perfect. If you had to say, well, I would like to see Joe Biden do more of this. Like one of the things people complain about is he doesn't do enough unscripted press conferences. And that's because probably so old he can't hear, he probably can't respond that quickly, and somebody's gonna trip him up. But what are your thoughts about you'd like to see your president do more of what?
I like to see him doing exactly what he's doing. Presidents, you can't dictate what a president should be doing or what they're not doing or whatever. He's going to do what he thinks is best, and I think he's on track to me. But
that's not converting in the polls, though. His poll numbers are low. There's minimal enthusiasm in the Democratic Party, and with the attack on the black community, you're losing the enthusiasm of the support of the black community because there's no action. There seems to be no pushback on that coming at a national level. I just think he's got to do something to get energized, the people about his potential candidacy and winning another election. So I think I would like to see him do more appearances in more places. I just would like to see more action. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, that is a good. You're right. Yeah, Democrats they're really bad at marketing themselves and really getting their points out and their accomplishments or whatever. They don't really toot their own horn as much as they should. And that has always kept them in the shadow of the Republicans because they don't market themselves like because they have just like the infrastructure. Like we have, most on all of these roads that you travel on, they're doing repairs, and that was the infrastructure bill.
Right, and they're not campaigning, they're not marketing that as much. In fact,
they're not campaigning, so they're not really marketing that. The healthcare system. The Wi-Fi. They got programs that put Wi-Fi in all the communities that don't have that.
Right, and they're not right, and they're not there. Well, maybe they're trying to hold that and get a little bit closer to the campaign. Some of the stuff that they're doing, I know on a national level, is a little, it's a little high end. Like they had the meeting with, I think it's Japan and South Korea, and they entered an agreement last week to consult if either one is threatened. They didn't go so far as to say we'll all respond and defend each other, but they were meeting at Camp David and they signed these documents of support. So that's very high level stuff. It's very distant. The last thing I want to ask you about is, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been happening with how the Republicans have tried to make the immigrant crisis a Democratic city crisis. And they've been shipping by bus immigrants into Democratic cities, dropping them off. And it finally came to a head last week up in New York, where the mayor of New York City was saying the governor's not doing enough to help out with the cost to house these people. What are your thoughts about the Democrats and their overall response to this imagery of a crisis of immigration? Should we be doing more on that front to address it, or how do we respond to that? And your thoughts?
Yeah, they do need to redo the immigrant bill. That's one thing they need to focus in on, because you do have a lot of like the Republicans, they're using the immigrants to make the Democrats look like they're not doing things with the border.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, Carl, listen, I appreciate you very much for always listening in. Appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. Look, stay safe out there on that road, and I look forward to hearing from you again in the near future. There we go, man. They got a little horn up. And I bet you he's like, look, that dude won't get me again. He's like, I think what he said he wanted to do, he was going to text me his CDL license to prove he's a real trucker. We'll take the horn. I don't need the license. We'll take the horn. Appreciate you very much. And so some of these city folks, DJC, they don't know what that horn is like. Because when I lived in the country, man, it was a full activity to walk all the way out to the highway and wait for the trucks to come by.
Just to do
just to pump that arm, man, and they go by, they hit that horn, man. We would jump up and down and holler. Or you traveling in the car go by a truck, you living in the back window, you back there pumping your arm, and the truck hit the horn for you. Man.
So here's a trick question: do you all still own that property
in Georgia?
Yes.
No. Well, let me say it's in the family.
It's in the family.
It's convoluted, man. It's like it went to my brother, and my brother went to his wife, and so yeah.
Oh.
So it's in there. Okay. It's in there, man. Okay. It's in there, man. Listen, all right. We got another caller calling in. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Paris. This is Brother Page. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Brother Page, man. I appreciate you giving us a call this morning. What's on your mind this morning, Brother Page?
You opened up today with a topic that's very important, and we got started just talking about Trump. And education. We are under attack, as you say, and that's true. But that's been true historically throughout our existence here in the United States of America and so forth, all the way from slavery. Getting some education, and they wouldn't even let us learn anything. We couldn't learn to read and write. And historically, our people have been taught, just based upon the way that we've been treated in this country, to be mistrusting, and then they started shipping us families, separating us, and so forth. Mm-hmm. So we don't have true family values in a lot of cases. It's an isolated thing, I think. And now I'm getting to what my main point is. How do we bring us together now that we have these saints up here messing with our Florida educational structure, and it's happening all over the United States in different places. How do we bring us as a people together? You said we have to have some type of concerted effort to battle this. Now, how, with the historical foundation that we have of being disjointed, how do we bring us together as a people to go ahead and try to come up with some ways to battle all of the injustices that are happening? We don't even know half the history of our people. Right. Every day, I would venture to say we could learn something about our people that has never been put in books. I mean, I'm learning things every day about our people, and I'm 69 years old.
Wow.
So there are numerous accounts of our educational process being tampered with. Now, how do we bring us together to have a concerted effort to actually fight to make sure that we are included in the educational process to protect that valuable commodity that you were talking about?
You know, the first thing I'll say is I am not so arrogant to think I have the answer to that. I don't think I got some ideas. I think one of the things I would say this, and this is about how do you get anyone to do anything. You have two ways to approach it. I can approach you from a logical standpoint and go through my logical explanation with information and hope that you arrive at the same place that I want you to. Or I can use some emotional drivers that will get you to emotionally respond. I think this thing needs some emotion behind it. I think this attack on the black community, it needs some emotion. Like, for example, I would think that right now, our major organizations like the NAACP should have a speaking engagement strategy across the South where they bring in prominent speakers back like you would think about doing the civil rights movement where let's say Malcolm X would go to a school to speak. And because he's there speaking on this issue, it becomes a community hot topic issue. In fact, I was watching one of those yesterday was that they were talking about when he visited Brown University in 1961 and then how that spilled into the community. So one of the things I really would love to see is someone like the NAACP have a speaking tour across the South regarding this and rally people. And when you rally people, you then have a register to vote. See, the Republicans are out registering us right now. They're doing it on emotion. That would be one of the things that I would do. The other one is I would appeal to those people. We talk about people in education a little bit. Those people with a little bit more resources to put your money in the fight. You may not know what to do, but you can make a contribution. We have in Hillsborough County, where I'm located, we're going to have the Freedom Fund dinner coming up. You may not know what to do, but Brother Page, that would be a great thing to support that event and make sure there's money at that organization to maybe fund the kind of thing I'm talking about. So that would be one of the things that I would put out there. But let me ask you, what thoughts do you have, though, about ways that we could rally people to stand stronger in the face of this opposition, though? What kind of ideas? Do you have any ideas on that?
Well, I think that, we're looking at things a little bit backwards, and I think we need to go backwards in order to fix it. One of the things that I've learned, and they say out of the mouth of babes, we are looking at people who have already gotten to, a lot of them to success, a lot of them to failure. But rallying those two different groups of people together for voting purposes, as we see most of the time in our election, that doesn't work. Most people, until you get to something like Floyd situation, most black people will not come out. And that's a problem that we have. If it is not something, as you said, emotionally driven, most of the time we don't get out. Even in a very sensitive election, we don't have a big turnout. So I think that we're going to have to get back to the grassroots, and I think that the Republican side, and especially people like DeSantis, have already learned that if you can get the foundation of our education, if you can destroy that right away where you don't have any knowledge of anything, then you won't be able to have any kind of support in the future. Someone told me they were working at one of our large corporations right here in Tampa Bay, and there was a incident of racism where they promoted a guy based upon color.
Okay.
Now, this guy got a job, and they had the EEOC investigate it. Once they investigated and talked to the individual that made the promotion, they were justified. He had freely admitted, yes, he promoted him based on race. And he said that if he were to put a black person in that position, his grandson would never have an opportunity to get into that position.
Nepotism. Nepotism.
Way, way back. So what we got to do is we got to get to our roots and get our kids to understanding and learning and understanding the power that we have in education. And in order to do that, we got to get the people that are suppressing our education process out of the way. So I think that our grassroots efforts need to be down at our lower education levels, our kids, elementary, junior high, and get them starting to understand. So I think that we have to have our education process.
Right,
absolutely. Any kind of way we can get that kind of process going and getting it instilled in them, just like family values. In our neighborhood, we have a lot of togetherness in our neighborhood.
Right.
We got to get that into our society.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Brother Page, appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling even more. So thank you so much. All right, y'all, we're going to take this quick break, come back on the other side, and we're going to touch on a couple more topics. In Texas News Radio, Reality Radio, everybody could be a star. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Tell a friend to listen in. It's In Touch Radio, Reality Radio.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. Listening to In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
All right, we're back live on In Touch News Radio, Reality Radio. Everybody could be a star. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. A couple things that I want to touch on. And the first one is I have a bad habit of putting my hand all over my face. I'm fighting that, y'all. Whatever that is. I love touching myself. in my face. So anyway, I'm fighting it because somebody wrote me and said, look, keep your hand out the camera. Every time I look up, your hand is showing up. You're moving the eyebrow. You're moving something. You're rubbing your nose. You're doing something to your face. Get your hands. So I apologize to everybody out there for putting my hands in front of me on the video if you're watching. If you listen on the radio, it doesn't really matter. So a couple of things I want to touch on. I had mentioned that the African-American progress in America is under attack. This is very, very real. And we've got to really wake up. This week in Arkansas, Governor Huckabee indicated that she was doing away with their AP African American Studies class. And really, see, if you go look at most AP classes, you've got one or two black students. Those classes aren't filled with black students. The history that's being taught that they want to stop is they don't want white people to learn this history. You think black people don't know your history? Listen, it's like me asking you about Chinese history in America. There's some incredible Chinese history in America and its development out west, and the railroads and how we populated the West, and a lot of stuff in industry. We don't know that. No one teaches that. We learn about the Italians coming over, the Polish and all that, but there are a lot of other cultures and the efforts to stop those people from coming. So the AP class, it isn't about black folks not learning African American history. It's about white folks not learning it, because if they did learn it, they would understand and appreciate the power of our presence in this country. Let me say this, and I don't want to sound hostile, but let's just be frank. Black people have never been welcomed in America. We've been necessary in America for America to grow and progress. And as beyond this ability to exploit African Americans, white America has very little tolerance for black folks. That is really what is afoot. And so there's a concerted effort right now across the board by a lot of people who I really didn't think were of the level of angst and that they are, that are willing to do all kinds of things. And so we as African Americans have to, first off, going to say, put your money up, folks. Support black organizations. Nobody's perfect. So stop it. Don't even give me the, I don't know what they're going to do with my money stuff. They're going to do more than you're doing with it. They're going to do more than what you're doing. What you going to do? Go get a cigar, maybe go to the dog track. What are you going to do? Really? What you might buy some that stinky cologne, another pair of gators? Go ahead and support some organizations that can help fight and create the kind of environment that is going to prosper African Americans and America as a whole. I think that's really the piece. We've got incredible resources. We have incredible resources in our community, incredible knowledge. We've got to use it. And if you use it and support the things that we're doing, for example, let's take In Touch News. This is a complete creation of the Johnson family. The labor and time and hours. And look, y'all, I know you think because Cordell drives a Cadillac, the Johnsons, they you know, and
old Cadillac.
But it's a Cadillac. and Tammy looks fly every time you see her, that the Johnson just rolling in it. That's not the case. They have put their sweat, their hard work, and their dedication into something that benefits our community, and I think benefits America. It is a pivotal a piece of making sure we are continuing to fight. So when I say it's under attack, one way to respond is we have the ammunition artillery. You know, we need to stand up. No one's coming to rescue us. No, trust me, ain't nobody coming. There is nobody's coming to rescue African Americans. You're going to have to do what we see being done over in Africa right now. You got to stand up to the colonial power and push back on what you know is right and make them comply with what they say are the structures of this country that they're going to live by. And I think we're all going to be better off for it. Listen, I don't want to run out of my time. DJ CEO, want to appreciate you very much for the opportunity as always. Want to encourage everybody there to stay tuned. We got Stay Woke coming up next. As always, Michelle and Mr. Dunn will bring that fire. So hang in there with us, y'all. You have a great Saturday. I'm going to run off to this Kappa retreat and go and put my report in, Brother Johnson, and you have a good weekend as well. So enjoy the family.
Blessings.